I'm John Wasson. I'm President and CEO of Technis Energy. Our main offices are in Dallas, Texas, North Dallas, but today we're out in East Texas at our East Texas Field Operations offices and warehouses, right about just in the middle of the East Texas oil field. We have two very important people in this organization. One of those is our Chief Operating Officer, Executive Vice President Frank Cole. Frank has 64 years experience in the oil business, and he is directly responsible for all the success and the progress we've made in the last 2.5 years.
We are in Technis Field Office in the middle of the East Texas oil field, and I'm here with our East Texas manager, Don Hamilton. We selected the East Texas oil field as our primary objective for the next 2 years for several reasons. It is one of the largest oil fields in the United States. It was developed by the major oil companies, but all of them except one major oil company have moved out and sold their wells to independent producers. There are now more than 300 separate operators producing more than 5,000 wells in the East Texas field. Of these 300 operators, 79 operators are operating more than 1,000 wells, all of which are shut in. Remember, these wells are more than 80 years old, a lot of them certainly more than 50 years old, and these operators are old. We have already purchased 97 wells, our company has, in the East Texas oil field. We expect to purchase another 100 within the next year or so. But the most important factor of all is that the East Texas field has more than 7 billion barrels of oil in place and has recovered more than 5.5 billion barrels to date. That's a recovery factor of about 78%, which is a phenomenal recovery factor. It's an excellent field and an excellent reservoir to work in. Production is from the Woodbine sand at about 3,600 feet. Most important, the Bureau of Economic Geology at the University of Texas in Austin has completed in recent years a major study of the East Texas field. They determined that the Woodbine sand can be divided into two sections, the Upper Woodbine and the Lower Woodbine, with the Upper Woodbine sand having produced about 95% of the previous production. The Lower Woodbine, they believe, still has another 550 million barrels of oil to recover. In order to prove their point, they worked with several of the independent operators in the East Texas field, and they deepened 41 wells to the Lower Woodbine, all of which were successful. Of these 41 wells, each well cost about $100,000 to deepen. Each well on the average produces a net income after all operating costs of about $40,000 a month, with another 80,000 barrels per well to be recovered. The payout time on these deepening wells average less than 3 months, with a return on investment of more than 10 to 1. So we are now in the process of doing the first 10 deepening wells on our own. The company is highly profitable, and we expect to grow rapidly, primarily in the East Texas oil field. One of the interesting things about our business is that on the 97 wells which we operate in East Texas, we have our own operating crew. We have 15 employees, 4 big workover units, 10 large trucks, and all kinds of various other electrical and welding equipment, and we manage and maintain our own wells using very limited outside services. One of the reasons that we do this is that on our workover rigs, we can operate our workover rigs for $100 per hour cheaper than we can contract an outside workover rig. And I might notice that $100 per hour that we save when we use our own equipment, that goes back to the shareholders. So it's very important that we do our own work here in the field. And we have a high-class group of people. We pay them about 20% above average wage in East Texas, guarantee them 40 hours a week, plus overtime, plus vacation. So we have a very talented crew of employees that does an outstanding job.
We're out in the yard now between our warehouses. We're standing next to one of our well service rigs.
We fabricated this rig from ground up. Everything is brand new on this rig, and it will be used on several wells. And we also have one rig in the field working, and we have 2 more rigs ready to go to work on our wells. We are now on the Forster lease on the north side of the field, and we got 15 wells on this lease. It's a larger lease, and we're here on by the tank battery at another well. I got a crew over here now fixing the heater treater, repairing the heater treater like new at a tank battery on the Forster.